What's up, chat? How's it going? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, my dudes. It's good old Blood Angels Wednesday, I guess. Yeah. So kind of out of the blue over here, we got some Blood Angels leaks, which is kind of exciting. I was, just to preface a little bit, I wasn't live on Tuesday. I missed my normal Tuesday show. I had a little bit of a cold this week, chat. So, like, basically Tuesday, most of the day today, I was out absolutely cold. I'm hopped up on medicine now, and we're ready to go. So I don't know. I guess a little bit of a consolation show, I guess, because we get some Blood Angel, a peek at the Blood Angels Codex. Now, to my knowledge, we don't have the entirety of the Codex yet. We have like 95% of it, but not everything is there. I believe that there are 18 datasheets inside the Codex if the Warhammer community is to be believed, and I think we only have like 10 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we have 7 of those. But we do have detachments we can take a peek at, so that's mostly what we're going to be looking at right now. We don't have all of the context around these detachments because it does look like things are changing pretty significantly. There are some pretty big losses to the Blood Angels range that make me sad. I cry inside my poor heart. Manship loved the videos. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, dude. OnePlus got COVID at Tacoma. Oh, brutal, dude. Yeah, that's I don't know. It's that time of year, I guess. It's every once in a while, like you have one of those weeks where you're like, you're feeling under the weather or whatever, and you like, I don't know. You take a day off, or you gotta go to the doctor or something, and then you like feel like you close your eyes and you wake up and it's like the Friday. And that kind of feels like this week to me. I have a bunch of videos that are literally halfway done. So. Well, I'll be videos soon. I promise. I have been not in the right mental capacity to talk about those, to finish those up. But what we will do is we talk about Blood Angels, though. We can do that for sure. So yeah, I think we'll just jump right in. Little jump pack pun for you there. This threw me for a loop, but the Sons of Sanguinius detachment has been renamed Liberator Assault Group. And if someone can tell me if there's a fluff justification for this renaming, what the importance of Liberator assault groups are in the Blood Angels chapter, they can let me know. That feels like a Raven Guard thing. I don't know. It kind of feels a little arbitrary, I guess, for sure. Librarian Dreadnought's going? Yeah, so the entire... that's probably the biggest loss in the Codex. The entire Blood Angels Dreadnought kit has been legended, or is not in the Codex. So the Furioso, the Baby Death Company Dreadnought, DCD, and the Librarian Dreadnought are all gone out of the Codex, which is huge. And that, it rubs me the wrong way a little bit, because that was a kit that... Well, it wasn't the greatest kit in the world. I did like Furiosa Dreadnoughts, and I did like Death Company Dreadnoughts. I thought the melee weapons are cool. To be honest, Librarian Dreadnoughts, cool concept, miss on the model. They looked like shit. But there was a kit that built 3 different units. And, Blood Angels players will have many of those, I imagine, which they can now, I guess, use as like regular Venerable Dreadnoughts from the Space Marine Codex, which is super crappy. The Death Company Dreadnought datasheet persists, but... it's now a Brutalis chassis, so there's a significant size difference. I guess like you could make an argument that like the name of the unit's the same, so you should be able to use your baby Death Company Dreadnought model in place of that thing. And like honestly, I'm probably with you, but just based on the right base size, and then it's like you got a real tiny baby short Brutalis Dreadnought. But yeah, I don't know. It's a whole thing. It's a huge blow to the contents of the faction. Kind of insane. Perfectly good plastic kit. Why kill it? Yeah, I mean, part of it's like production line stuff. Like they don't want to be like have to upkeep it. Like mold upkeep is a big deal, and you lose like run time essentially if you're making these kits that are very niche. Whereas you can make a Brutalis Dreadnought kit, and every Space Marine player is going to buy it, and then also you might sell extra because people model them up as Death Company Dreadnoughts. Like logistically it makes more sense, but It sucks. It sucks super hardcore. Is Gabriel Seth in the Codex? It's a great question. We do have a picture of the points list. I guess while we're talking about data sheets that are in there, we can take a peek at the points. This picture's like split into two for whatever reason. So I don't see Gabriel Seth. And then here's the other half of this picture. I don't know why it's cropped like that, but it is what it is. So I don't see Gabriel Seth. Gabriel Seth might also be missing, chat. He might have gone on a hike. So yeah, we got Asth, we get Ball Predators, we get a special captain, I guess. It might be like a Death Company captain. Chief Librarian Miston, although I think there's just like a special upgrade sprue in the Combat Patrol, I think, so he might have unique war gear. Inky's freaking out, by the way, right now. Because she was used to me sleeping for the last 2 days, and so now I have to record a live stream? What? Commander Dante, 130 points for Commander Dante. Is like actually kind of okay. There is a Death Company captain. There's a separate Death Company captain data sheet. Captain with Jump Pack, Death Company Dreadnought, Death Company Marines, Bolt Rifle Marines, Jump Pack Marines. And these are Jump Intercessors now, by the way. They're Primaris models. So you can probably still use your OG Death Company Marines. And it looks to me, we'll get into the data sheets later. It looks to me like the war gear is actually kind of the same. Although they did move to the new model of war gear being keyed to the kit. So it looks like it's going to be way more complicated to field Death Company units, because instead of being like, oh, I'll just take a bunch of Power Fists because they're good, you get like one Power Fist guy, one Thunderhammer guy, one Chainsword guy, one Power Sword guy, and it's like a nightmare. Lamardis is in there, Sanguinary Guard is in there, Sanguinary Priest is in there, Sanguinor is in there, and I think that is all that this is saying. Yeah, that looks like the entire thing. Oh, there's a QR code. Can you scan that and get it unlocked in the app? Probably not, right? So that's the list. That's what's up. That's a lot of stuff missing for sure. So I know he's a Flesh Tear player. They got rid of the only Flesh Tear character. Yeah, I think part of it was like Gabriel Seth ruled, right? Like I don't know anything about the lore, but the model, like his presence on the tabletop was very cool, right? Because he's like a very interesting profile. He's kind of a Ragnar Blackmane. He was almost literally a Ragnar Blackmane. He lets you advance and charge, and then also has like 1,000,000 attacks at strength 8 AP, billion 2 damage, which is like kind of sweet. And to be fair, that's basically every Space Marine captain these days. But I think the problem was that he artificially split the sub-faction into sub-factions. So you could play Blood Angels or you could play Flesh Terrors, and then they had to create like a mechanical framework to separate the two. And I think it was just problematic. I wish for some of those chapters that have, and to be honest, right, I think he was a fine cast model. So he was probably, his mold was a bit giving out, and I bet they're discontinuing the model. But I think that I wish, like, in some instances they would just flesh out some of these other chapters that they have, like, models for. And just give them, like, detachments and stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, the same with all the compliant chapters that have, like, one model in them or two models and then, like, no other support. Like, you can play Ultramarines and play Codex but have 1,000 special characters. You're like, okay, that's pretty cool. But if you play Imperial Fists, you have 2 and nothing else. That's all you get. If you play Raven Guard, you have Cave and Shrike. Give them a detachment, man. I don't know. It's extra work for the design team they probably don't want to deal with. Could use Gabriel Seth as Blood Angels captain. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't. If anybody fights you for running him as a captain with a Power Fist, like kick him in the nuts or something, because it's literally the same profile. I think his Chainsword used to be like 2 AP higher. It was AP 3 or 4, right? But it was basically just a Chainsword. So, like, you just play that. I think that would be how I would play it, probably. Flesh Terror is getting a White Dwarf release. Flesh Terrors will get, like, one of those little, like the Emperor's Children treatment, where they just get a supplement that's just worse than playing the core army. You can play Emperor's Children if you want to suck, I guess. Okay, cool. I love that. Thank you. Thanks, G-Dub. I get Lucius the Eternal. What a time to be alive. All right. Well, let's dive into... Yeah, that's my cat. That's Inky. if you're new to the stream, which you might be, because this is a weird time for me to stream. I'm never live here, at least on YouTube. Usually I'm over on Twitchies. But Inky, let's see if Inky wants to come up and say hi to the chat. Come up here, kitty cat. She gets all riled up when I'm live streaming and I'm not petting her. Nope, she's just gonna pull on my headphones. You coming? There you go, baby girl. Yeah. So here's Inky. Oh, get up there. She's a drama queen, and she gets upset anytime I'm doing anything other than brushing or petting her, and she throws a hissy fit. So that's what's up. Hello, kitty. Are you gonna sit down? Sometimes she sits on my arm. Sometimes she goes up into the top of the chair. No, you're just gonna sit there like a weirdo? Okay, that's fine. We'll talk about Blood Angels with you right here. Oh, there you go. Going up on the back? Alright, fair enough. Nice. Yeah, most cats are drama queens. Yeah, so she gets up here sometimes. Sometimes she sits on my head, which is extremely convenient. Everybody loves that. So, but yeah, she will scream in the background as long as I don't lock her up somewhere. What are you doing? Aww. So yeah, let's move over to Detachments. The Liberator assault group over here threw me for a loop because I was like, oh shit, Sons of Sanguinius just got deleted. We lost a bunch of data sheets and we lost their index detachment. That's crazy. But it turns out Liberator assault group is just the modern reimagining of Sons of Sanguinius. It's basically the same. There's a couple other things, but that's about it. The detachment ability is the same, +1 attack, +2 strength in melee on the charge. They also get an enhancement for once per game fight first. Pretty good for your heroic interveners. There she goes, sitting on my head. Rage-fueled warrior. Start of the fight phase, you can use the enhancement. You get sustained hits 3 on your melee weapons. A little awkward because there's as far as I know, there's no critical enhancements. So you're just like hoping for 6s. Well, you want to talk about Gabriel Seth? It does feel pretty Gabriel Seth. Kind of a cool wombo combo with the regular captain and a finest hour. So you get 3 extra attacks that have themselves the chance to triplicate, which would kind of be crazy. Or I guess 4x themselves, right? Because you get 3 additional hits, so you get 4 total. So you're multiplying by 4. Yeah, so that's kind of sweet. You get a big power spike, although for sure that feels like an enhancement where you say, "Oh, I'm going to declare my Rage Field Warrior," and then you roll no 6s. But if you're punching into your Oath target, you're like probably okay. Love a Raven Guard Phobos Sniper Epic Hero. Hell yeah, yeah. GW has consistently, outside of Psychers, they've consistently not wanted characters to be ranged powerhouses, and I don't really understand why. They're starting to get around it. You have some characters like Cypher that are like good at shooting, but like at short range, and I think that's cool. But I never understood why you can't have like a cool sniper guy who's just like does D3 plus 3 damage or something. Like maybe it's problematic, but like Vindicare assassins have literally always existed, so I don't know. Is that more problematic than having a huge battle tank do it? I don't think so. Icon of the Angel, I think, is the same as it was. Non-monster vehicle that is selected to fall back has to take a desperate escape check. It's just a desperate escape check. It used to be a battle shock test to try to escape, right? Or am I thinking of 8-bound? Let's double check my math here. And then last but certainly not least, Gifts of Foresight. Once per battle round, you're making a hit, wound, or saving throw for the bearer cheat, the result is an unmodified 6. So that is Icon of the Angel. Oh, no, that is the same. Yeah, you're just taking... take Desperate Escape checks if you're Battle Shocked, so you die on a 1 or a 2. If you are Battle Shocked, you get a -1 as well. Sometimes combos with, like, Death Mask mechanics, but I don't know. Kind of funny. So they lost. That's the only enhancement that has stuck around. Their offensive enhancement, I think, it's a significant upgrade. Archangel Shard was the old one. It used to give you Lance and Anti-Chaos 5-up, which is like, feels unnecessary. I guess it's good if you have a devastating weapon, but you're wounding everything in the game on 5s at worst if you have Lance. So, like, I guess it works on the next round combat, but you're going to probably, if you're killing something big, you're going to Lance your unit anyway, so it doesn't actually do anything. It was kind of bad. And then Visage of Death have the objective control characteristic of models of the unit while engaged or ranged with the bearer's unit. That was very good. Not seeing play anymore. Artisan of War gave you +1 AP and save. That one's also gone. But I think these are like at worst side grades. Gifts of Foresight probably has some interesting play. If you put it on, it is after making a wound roll, so you can use rerolls and then decide to swap after all the dice have been determined. So if you have a devastating weapon, so if you're like a Judiciary or something, you can actually get some pretty solid use out of that because you're automatically flipping one Devastate. Plus it's once per battle round, so it's like weirdly synergistic if you're going second, because you get one on your offensive turn when you charge, you're getting a flip, and then when your opponent swings back to you on their turn, you get a saving throw flip as well. So you can actually be, in some instances, be kind of annoying to kill with these abilities. Once per battle round, not once per turn is a little bit awkward, but it does seem good. Are there any devastating ranged weapons? The Phobos like Captain doesn't have one, right? His weapons are trash. Oh, precision, 2 damage. What a time to be alive. It used to be like strength 5, AP 3, 3 damage. How times have changed? And I think you could buff it just to 4 damage in Raven Guard if I remember correctly. I guess there's just like combi weapons. Lame. Lame. It's Hero Hammer, not Sniper Hammer. It's Sniper Heroes. You ever played a MOBA? Yes, Sniper Heroes are a long honored, a long honored tradition of the genre. So we got some stratagems. We got Lance and Lethal hits from Red Rampage. Select either Lance and Lethal. If you give into the red thirst, you become battle shocked. Get Lance and Lethal. So that seems like that's the sub theme of the detachment. I wish they would have enhancements that would like work off of that though. Like do a thing. Why aren't any of these enhancements? Like let's say that sustained hits 3, right? He gives into rage, but if he succumbs to the red thirst, he becomes battle shocked, but gets critical 5s. Like suddenly, whoa, that's cool. Battle shocking yourself on your turn is actually really bad because then it affects you through your opponent's turn, which is kind of annoying. It doesn't matter so much, I guess, for like Death Company units because they're probably already OC0, but a little weird. Aggressive assaults. It is able to either shoot or declare a charge. You can give into Red Thirst to become battle shocked. You can shoot and declare a charge. So that is a huge uptick in power level. That was the if Sons of Sanguinius had one downside, it was the fact that it could not advance in charge. And to be honest, it never really mattered in the past because your damage output per unit was so high, your ability to trade was so big that you would just end up like overwhelming your opponent with endless numbers of jump pack Marines. So it didn't matter that you didn't have like a super long threat range because you would just like your opponent would kill your first like wave of jump pack intercessors, and then the Death Company would just hit them anyway and kill them. And to be honest, like these downgrades to restrict half of the stratagem effect don't feel that bad, especially in the case of Red Rampage, because you're getting like the upside is lethal hits, which is not that big of a deal if you're already lancing. I always thought this was a weird stratagem because lethal hits is kind of just anti-synergistic with Lance. It's not bad to have. It doesn't make your attacks worse or anything, but it means that the Lance is less effective. So losing the lethal hits, I don't think you're going to feel it too often unless you're hitting really high toughness characteristics, because most of the time you're winning people on 3s, so lethal hits is not very valuable. But basically, It seems like we've largely traded that for the ability to advance and charge for CP, which is an insane uptick. Relentless Assault, you can fall back, shoot, declare charge. You can Red Thirst yourself to shoot and declare charge. Fair enough. Savage Echoes, and I think that used to just have no ability. It was only... It was only... Are there really 2 Relentless Assaults in the game? There are. That's incredible. And they do different things. Yeah, it was only fallback and charge. This is even higher upside. So you can, even if you're not battle shocking yourself, you can choose to like take heavy like gun units. Like Land Raider Redeemers can fall back and shoot now in this detachment. This detachment is amazing. I think we lost. Did we lose Fight on Death? Is that what? Savage Echoes. When it happens to start from your unit, from your army that was just charged by an enemy unit, you can select strength or attacks characteristic of melee weapons equipped in models in your unit. Until the end of the turn, you get +1 to the selected characteristic. If you give in to Red Thirst, you add +1 to both. Weird. That's kind of bad. So, that's significantly worse than Fight on Death, I guess. We lost Angel Sacrifice, which was kind of like kind of whatever anyway, because you would either Oath or be a Death Company guy. Relentless Assault got strictly better. Red Rampage got a little downgrade, and we lost Aggressive Assault, but we lost our Infinite Fighting Death Company Dreadnought. Spoiler alert, by the way, he doesn't fight on target anymore, so I guess it's probably less useful. So there's a lot less utility, but like, man, the raw power level feels really good. You get fallback and shoot, fallback and charge, advance and shoot, advance and charge. Jesus Christ. Okay. And then you got defense against mortal wounds as well. You got a little bit of anti-Thousand Suns technology, which actually was a problem for the detachment. I think Thousand Suns had Blood Angel's number a lot of times. I don't know, chat. Read the whatever this is called, Liberator Assault Force feels pretty strong. I always had lethals with Lamarty's anyway, or +1 to wound to the Chaplain. Yeah, there's so many times where it wasn't actually that useful, for sure. It's mostly for like the random times when you play like Vanguard or your Sanguinary Guard, or you get like Japays into something that's important. A jump back assault intercessors. Is Red Thirst anti-battle shock or just self-inflicted? Well, there's no downside. If you're already battle shocked, there's no downside to re-battle shocking yourself. Because it doesn't. There's nothing that implies that you would not be able to succumb to the Red Thirst if you are battle shocked. Oh, no, I guess you're not using a stratagem on them. What am I talking about? All right, just kidding. What am I? That's stupid. Vanguard Bites also had lethals bit on. Yeah, it was mostly for the +1 to wound, right? Because they only capped at strength 8, so you mostly needed +1 to wound to get through vehicle profiles. And then the lethals were like always kind of whatever. Who cares? All right. Detachment numero dos, the Lost Brethren. We get some Death Company action. Each time a Death Company bottle from your army makes a melee attack reroll wound roll of 1. If it's below half strength, reroll the wound roll instead. Fuck yeah, dude. That's a good detachment ability right there. Woo! All right. You just get your little two little remaining Death Company jump pack units, like full rerolling hits and wounds with and just like beating people to death. Enhancements. If the bearer is within engagement range of 3 or more enemy models, it can fight 1 additional time. Whoa! Chat, we got fight again. Return into the game? I never thought I would see the day. I thought after 9th edition they were done. No more fight again. It's back. It is the bearer, so it's individual model activation. So you can't do it with the whole unit. And you have to be within an engagement range of 3 or more enemy models and not be dead. And it's once per battle. This feels like it has so many riders on it, it will probably not happen. But every once in a while, you'll have extra points and you'll take this in your army and then you'll like sink into a unit, flub your dice and be like, wait a minute. Hold up. And then your opponent's reduced you below half strength because they killed half of your, like, Death Company Marines or something, and you're like, your guy goes ape shit and just kills everyone. That's nuts. However, do you have a unit less than half dead but not dead? To be honest, in Marines, it happens a lot. The 5-man's not typically, but the 10-man's, like, all the time. The number of times I see Blood Angels armies with, especially the ones that are, like, focusing really heavily on Death Company units, like big Death Company bricks, they always have, like, 3 or 4 models left after, like, they sink in and they get punched and they get punched back. Maybe one unit dies, but another one doesn't always die. It doesn't die all the way, and then they go crazy. The Blood Shard. First time the bear is destroyed on a 2+, set it back on the battlefield as close as possible. Not within engaged range of enemy units. Always a good ability to have. That's just good. To slay the War Master once per battle. These are all once per battle. I guess that's sort of the theme. Start of the fight phase, bearers who think engaged range of one or more enemy character units. Select one of those character units and roll 6d6 for each 4+1 character model in the unit suffers a mortal wound. That is extremely niche. That one's probably... Hopefully that's not too expensive. That could almost be a combat activation effect, where, like, when you're selected to fight, choose one character unit. It is on the character model, but you're like, how many character models die to, on average, 3 mortal wounds? It's not that many. It's some of them, but... it's, I guess, like, okay into big characters, like big knights and demon primarchs and stuff. Big monster characters. I don't know. It feels pretty niche, though. I would not include that in my game plan, but I would take it if I had extra points. You only win the game once per battle. Yeah. And Vengeful Onslaught, if you're destroyed, each time a friendly Death Company model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. Board wide. That's kind of cute. I'm curious, and I think that, unfortunately, the Death Company captains are not the data sheets that we have, so I don't know what all of the captains do. But if they... It could be cool to have, like, smash characters that you run forward to give yourself that +1 to hit. The +1 to hit, assuming that foot marines, like, keep the same effects that they used to have, could be really interesting because they had sustained hits based on their unit strength. And being able to not even Oath's Moment, to just Death Company attack reroll into those sustained hits and hitting on 2s, so you don't lose any efficiency by rerolling all your non-critical hits, is actually kind of a big deal. So, like, triggering that could be huge. That's super cool. Death Company Captain gives sustained hits 1. Oh, okay. Well, that's less exciting. Is there a datasheet for him somewhere? I do not have many datasheets. Oh, there's a couple more floating around, actually. Okay, yeah. There's some just got posted in the Discord. Thanks to the folks who are keeping up on this. So we'll actually have more. Look how tiny it is, though. Oh, no, I might have to expand these. This one might just be small, to be honest. Oops, sorry, chat. We'll figure that out later when we get to data sheets. Let's talk about some stratagems. Glorious Sacrifice. So I think we actually might have all the data sheets now. Not quite. We're close. Glorious Sacrifice. A Death Company unit that was destroyed in range of an objective marker. The objective marker remains under your control. A little bit weird because the Death Company traditionally do not have an OC value, right? Is that still the same? No, not you. Here's the Death Company Marines. They're OC1. They become OC0 if they don't have a Chaplain. So I guess you're kind of like incentivized to have a Chaplain. Or another unit that's helping them hold an objective. A little anti-synergistic, but the locking objectives is always good. World Eaters love that. I imagine very World Eaters pilled. Armor of Contempt as normal. Final Retribution. After an enemy unit selected its targets, Death Company unit that was selected can fight on death. On a 4+, goes down to a 3+ if you are within 12 inches of a Chaplain model. Which you probably are, to be honest. It looks like all of these key off Chaplain models, actually. Furious Onslaught, you get a D3 plus 3-inch pile-in instead of 3 inches. Goes to 6 if you are within 12 of the Chaplain model. So they basically got the 6-inch pile-in from the Sons of Sanguinius detachment ported over. Kind of the classic Codex problem where your detachment stratagems get all parsed out to different detachments. Time to run 3 solo Terminator Chaplains and team strike them around? Yeah. It's like some old synaptic link energy. We're just gonna we're gonna strategically cache chaplains around the battlefield to make sure our Death Company get all their buffs. One Death Company unit below starting strength that has not been selected to fight gets lost to rage. You get +1 strength, AP, and attacks. And unless you are within 12 of a chaplain, you also get hazardous. I would love for these units to have a way to kill themselves, because it feels like that's kind of the Chaos Cult identity, where you have a bunch of things that trigger off when your units are destroyed, but you have also a bunch of ways to sacrifice your own models, so you have an outlet for that. In this one, you're just sort of allowing your opponent to shoot you and hoping for the best, which doesn't feel quite as good. But you are going to be, there is going to be a situation, right, where you have a unit that goes in, it hammers somebody, it gets punched back, and it has a couple models remaining, and it goes in with full hit wound rerolls and +1 strength, AP, and damage. And it just goes insane. I don't know if I like this detachment as much, though, because a lot of it feels like it's keyed on hoping your opponent doesn't one-shot your units. And most of the time, they don't kill all of the Death Company, but you never want that to be the start of your game plan. That feels very inconsistent, unfortunately. Wrathful Rampage. After a Death Company unit from your army advances, you are eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which you advanced. If you're within 12 inches of Chaplain, you get advance and shoot as well. Okay, well, all right. So we're basically just losing out on... Everything's Death Company keyed besides AOC. And you're losing out on Lance from the Liberator and fall back and do stuff, which is less useful. Well, we'll take a peek at some Death Company data sheets, chat. I don't know how to feel about this. Now I know it advances and charges. It feels a lot better. You retain the threat range increase, but the problem is that if you're diving on people from out of line of sight, then you don't get any of your you don't get the most powerful of your detachment abilities. So if they haven't shot you, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. It's a little bit weird. All right, last one, chat. We've only got 3 detachments in the Codex, or the supplements, I guess it's called. The Angelic Host, jump pack themed. Detachment rules upon Wings of Fire. End of your opponent's turn, select a number of Astartes jump pack units from your army, not in engagement range. Up to 2 in a Strike Force game. They are placed into strategic reserves, and the reinforcement step of your next movement phase they set up using Deep Strike. This is somebody was saying, I think, we were having a discussion about Hypercrypt Legion. Hypercrypt Legion got fucked in the Prime Nexus update. For anybody who doesn't know, there's a huge discussion about it. And one comment I read was they clearly forgot to write they arrive via Deep Strike in the next reinforcement step, and they're just contorting the entire game around the fact they forgot to include that section in the hyper-facing rule. Which, the more I read about it, the more I think I believe. But they didn't do it here. Also, you only get 2 units, which is not very many. But to be fair, this is a very powerful ability, since most of your army is probably going to be jump packs anyway. And it is deep striking all over the place. Artisan of War makes a return, plus 1 AP and save. Very nice. Visage of Death makes a return. It's much different, though. The Battle Shock step of your opponent's command phase. Each enemy unit within engagement range of the veteran must take a Battle Shock check. But it doesn't stack with other Battle Shock checks. That's just bad. That's not very good. Like, you're charging them in engagement range, and you're not going to kill them? Okay, sure. And Archangel's Shard is the thing we just talked about, which is basically worthless unless you have... I guess it depends on if there's Lance in the detachment. It looks like there's not. So it's actually much better in a situation where you don't have Lance baked in, essentially. And in Gleaming Pinions, once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 9 inches of the bearer, if this bearer's unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, it can make a normal move up to 6. That is incredible. Oh my god. Okay. So the weird thing that happens with once per turn interactions like this, chat, is that these sort of baked in reactive move effects are not typically phase locked, and this one is not. So for example, if you have your Gleaming Pinions guy and you move and you're playing in the mirror match, you're playing against Gladius Dark Angels or whatever, and you move up to them and they go, I'm gonna squad tactics to get out of your charge range, you get another move of 6 inches. You get to go even farther. That's insane. That's so good. Absolutely meta altering. I don't know about meta altering, but it is incredibly strong. Like, people at this point I think are used to playing against reactive move effects. It is the extreme gotcha where you try to gotcha the other player and then they get to gotcha you back because their reactive move triggers off of yours. Which, to be fair, most of them do. It's just a situation that very rarely matters as much as I think it will with this. But also the ability to just ram into somebody and kill them, and then if they come back to fight you, you get to reactive move away. It's one of the reasons that, like, Dominions, for example, are so strong in Sisters. Because they get to hit you, and then if you do anything anywhere, then they just get to go back in their transport, and you have to kill the transport, then they disembark out of line of sight, and you have to go find them again. It's like a nightmare to actually kill those models, and it's essentially the same for this guy. If you can charge a unit that's, like, next to a ruin, and then your opponent comes back to countercharge you, and you just go into the ruin and, like, wall screen them, that's a big deal. So, you have to be able to I don't know, pull out your anti-reactive move effects. You just pretend you're playing against Grey Knights. This is the Grey Knights Blood Angels detachment. You're almost literally just Grey Knights. Hello, 18 Inceptor lists again? Yeah. Inceptor's jumping around actually is going to be nuts. Yeah, that's going to be crazy good. Oof, this detachment's already getting me. I like this detachment too because it seems kind of cool. Like, it doesn't seem quite as straightforward as the Liberator Assault Force, right? You're like, oh, that feels like the Gladius Task Force of Blood Angels. I advance and charge, and I lance, and then I do a stab. You're like, okay, cool, good job. This one's, like, much more tactical. I don't know, this is cool. Unbridled Ardor. You use it on a unit that was just destroyed until the end of the battle. Each time a friendly Sanguinary Guard unit makes an attack that targets the enemy unit that destroyed your unit, you can reroll the hit roll and the wound roll. Sick. Okay. Hit and wound. They were like, people kept poo-pooing it because it was hit rerolls. That was like, Angel Sacrifice was okay in the past because it was like, you're probably getting oaths anyway, or you're a Death Company guy, whatever. So finally they were like, fuck it. It's all of the rolls. You get reroll wounds as well. You're going to use this, I swear. But that's good because you're like throwing scouts or jump back assault intercessors out. And then as soon as your opponent kills it, if they kill it with anything remotely valuable, you just windmill slam. And your Sanguinary Guard go apeshit on that guy. And that is probably useful multiple times. And if you have 18 Sanguinary Guard, you can actually get some like insane value out of that. Your Grey Knights with Marine damage profiles. Yeah, your Grey Knights that are actually good in melee. Seems good. We just we need a Brotherhood Librarian Dreadnought, you know, just to complete the look. Angel Sacrifice is back. It's the OG 9th Angel Sacrifice. A jump pack unit from your army until the end of the phase. Each time an enemy model within engagement range of your unit. They didn't fuck up the wording this time like they did with Sisters. It's model, not unit. The Sisters one is units. So if you engage them with anything, every model in that unit has to attack the Suffering and Sacrifice unit, which is insane. But this is good if you can keep heat off of your punchy stuff, off your Sanguinary Guard with like little idiots. So like you can use Jump Pack Intercessors or Death Company or whatever to like side charge in, and if you can tag a character or something, you can prevent your opponent from cracking back onto your more important fighters. That one's. It's very niche, but the situations where it comes up can potentially win you the game. Because your opponent comes in expecting to kill you. Especially if they have, like, one model units. If they have, like, big demons or big monsters or, like, a knight. And this knight's like, I'm going to squish these Sanguinary Guard. And you're like, Heroic Intervene with this Intercessor. Angel Sacrifice. And suddenly this knight kills one Intercessor and gets killed by Sanguinary Guard. That's like, game-changing. So you have to play around it. This is a very tricksy detachment. Descent of Angels. Oh, my God. It's a 3-inch Deep Strike. What? Jump back unit arriving using Deep Strike. You can set up 3 inches away from enemy units. Oh, shit. So our jump back assault intercessor units are even better at completing actions? This detachment rules. Oh my god. This is crazy good. And you get a fallback, shoot, and charge in a turn in which you advance or fall back. Sure. In the charge... Wait a minute. This timing's fucked, chat. You use it in your charge phase, and it allows you to shoot. That doesn't do anything. You can advance, fall back, and charge. Sure. This shooting thing is worthless. That doesn't do anything. Why is that there? Why are you eligible to shoot in your charge phase? That doesn't make sense. What the fuck? Yeah. What is that? I like the charge phase timing on these because that's like one thing that always pisses me off is like the stratagems that are like when you select a unit to advance. Okay, effect is you can charge later in that turn even though you advanced, and you're like, yeah, but if I roll a 1, then I've already spent this EP, and I'm not going to make charge range anyway, so why would I use this strat? I like the charge phase, or any time in movement, that's also a good timing, but charge phase gives you so much control over it. They just fucked it up by saying you could shoot also. I wonder which one is correct. I wonder if they copy-pasted the shoot and declare a charge from somewhere else, or the charge phase timing should be movement phase. I don't know. I almost imagine if it's charge phase or shooting phase, and it's shoot or declare a charge. I almost wonder if that's the actual correct timing. Another classic GW proofreading. You do it to do actions. Yeah, they wrote it for the Leviathan format and then like totally changed how actions work. That'd be amazing. Yeah, movement or charge phase. Yeah, it was probably supposed to be charge or shooting phase, I imagine. And they just fucked it up. Pet the cat. All right, Inky. You want to come up? Get on up here, kitty. Chat wants to see you. Here she is. It's your kitty. She's like, I don't want to talk about Blood Angels. I want to talk about whatever faction my favorite is. I don't know what faction my cat would play. She feels like kind of, I don't know. What's the laziest faction? What's the faction that enjoys petting the most? Emperor's Children. Definitely not Space Wolves. No, I adopted her from my mom because my mom got a dog, and she would kick the shit out of this dog to the point where they started fighting. They had fights. They would not get along in any way. They would fight over food. She would scratch him, this poor puppy. And then the puppy started getting angry. And the puppy, she has another cat. The puppy started getting so afraid of cats, he would start to try to fight the other cat that wasn't even involved. So that cat has a miserable time now. It's just been a whole shit show. Because this cat hates dogs so much. It's just letting out little wahs all the time, so it's got to be orcs. Yeah. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Well, chat, I think this detachment has a lot to do with data sheets, because you do have to get damage output out of these units. So I think we'll just dive into some data sheets now. Angelic Host seems like the most interesting detachment to me. I think there's going to be a lot of people who stick on Liberator Assault Force, because it's like basically just Sons of Sanguinius with some side grades. But this Angelic Host looks incredible. A good player with Angelic Host, I think, is going to run over people. But we'll see. I'm excited. It does feel like it could be a little low on damage output. But let's take a peek at some of the data sheets we're going to use them with. I think I got a Sanger's data sheet over here we can take a peek at. Oh, that's Dante. Here we go. Here's the Sanguinary Guard. So who are we charging people with our uppy downy chargey detachment? The answer is these new and improved Sanguinary Guard. They have 4. They either have a spear attack, so they have lance, or they get an extra AP and an extra attack for an Carmine Blade. They lost their like axe or power fist profile. A little awkward. If a captain model from your army can be attached to assault intercessors or jump packs, they can be attached to this unit. So you can improve their strength to 7, which is actually a big deal with the jump pack captain, because that gets you to wound. With the lance, you wound everything on the game on 4s, essentially. So that's a big deal. You get -1 to hit in melee if a character model is leading the unit. Nice that it's character, not warlord. That's a big upgrade, because it used to be only warlords. Then you also get -1 to wound in melee. So they're super tough. 2+, 4+, 3 wounds. -1 to be hit and wounded. A little bit of Inner Circle companion energy for sure. And then I wonder if you swap between blades and spears, like if you do like 2 spears and 1 blade, or vice versa, to just like crack hard targets with the spear unit. Because I guess it is only 18 attacks, which is not very many for +1 to wound. You're losing 25% of your output for an additional 17% chance to wound, which I guess is like probably a side grade. But the AP loss is big. Maybe you just take blades, actually. Especially if you have captains in the unit. Because at strength 7, I don't know if you need the lance quite as much. I mean, we have a points document, chat, but I wouldn't believe it. Let's see. This weird crop. Looks like 50 points, but I think that's what it says. But to be honest, who knows? Because everything changes before the Codex comes out anyway. They are up to 6 unit size, though, so you can't take the 10 mans anymore. Those are gone. You're now like a Blade Guard veteran unit size for these dudes, which is sad. But it did kind of feel a little bit weird that the elite guard of the Blood Angels were taken in huge, like, giant bricks. This definitely feels a little bit more appropriate to their skill set, but it is weird to have... It's like another thing where you're basically just, like, kind of screwing over Blood Angels players with extensive collections, because you have... If you have a bunch of Dreadnought kits and a bunch of Sanguinary Guard, suddenly, like, half your Sanguinary Guard can't get played, and all your Dreadnought kits got legended. Like, I don't know. That's gotta feel bad, man. Dante with 6 is going to be a problem. Let's talk about Dante. He himself gives +1 to advance and charge rolls, and given that if you're in any of the advance and charge detachments, which is most of them, then you are +2 threat range. So his unit just goes for days. Each time a model in the unit makes an attack, you get +1 to hit. Classic. He's a lethal hit, 8 attack, strength 8, AP 3, 2 damage. So he does make them insanely fast. Or he makes anything, whatever he's joined into, insanely fast. which is probably Sanguinary Guard, I guess. Although I feel like the jump captains feel so necessary for them. That strength 7 cutoff feels so important. I guess like if you are talking about them in the context of the Liberator force, then they get to strength 9, which is strength 9, 4 or 5 attacks, which definitely does feel really, really good. Maybe the Liberator strike force is or assault force is still the way to go. Maybe this cool jump pack detachment is a little bit more gun focused. Maybe we are into the 18 Inceptors, like you were saying, chat. It feels okay. You could have asked before stealing your name. You've been Nihilist for 27 years now. Is it like Nihilist is just like that's just like a Latin term, right? Is that the root etymology? Maybe they stole it from KOTOR originally. Do they legend dreads? Yeah, the little dreadnoughts are gone. There are no little dreadnoughts in the Codex, unfortunately. All right, let's move to Death Company, guys. Oh, this is tiny. It's so small. Is there a better? I bet I got a bigger picture of this one. Nope, he's just a little guy. Oh, that's a little better. I might need to do some wizardry on these to make them look better. So the Jump Pack Death Company Captain can only be attached to Jump Pack Death Company Marines, so you can't go into Assault Intercessors or anything. You get Sustained 1, and the Death Company Marines, I guess it's important to talk about them while we're talking about them. So these are the Jump Pack guys. They got a new fancy Primaris model. You reroll hit rolls, you reroll charge rolls. They get the insane, this absolutely ludicrous weapon loadout. For every 5 models in the unit, 1 model's heavy bolt pistol and chainsword can be replaced with one of the following. So you get 1 power fist, 1 eviscerator. Jesus Christ. So you get 1 power fist, period. He's like the sergeant. And then you take 4 more dudes. 2 of them have chain swords. 1 of them has an eviscerator. And 1 of them has 1 combination of these. I guess it's either power fist, power weapon, and chain sword, and then one of the choices of pistol. God, this is bizarre. So you could take a plasma pistol with any of the 3, an infernal pistol with any of the 3, a heavy bolt pistol. I guess they don't include the chainsword and the heavy bolt pistol in here because that's what he already has, which is why there's only 2 options there. Or a hand flamer and 1 power fist. I feel like there was a better way to to do these. You could just say like 1 model's heavy bolt pistol can be replaced with 1 of the following, and their chainsword can be replaced with 1 of the following. I just do that. I don't know why we had to write every single option down. Insane. Absolutely nuts. Oh my god. So they're mostly just like rerolling hit rolls, and you get significantly fewer power fists than you did previously. The Eviscerator is a sustained hits kind of a power fist. It only hits on 4s, but you're rerolling, so it's like kind of okay, I guess. But you're going to have significantly less damage output than you did previously. You do get sustained hits 1 if the captain's in there, but you don't get the +1 strength, awkwardly. He explodes when he dies. If he's destroyed in melee, after the attacking unit is finished making its attacks, roll 1d6, add 2 to the result. If the enemy's unit contains the Warlord. On a 2 to a 3, the enemy suffers D3 mortal wounds. On a 4+, they suffer 3. On a 6+, they suffer D3 plus 3. So I do think it does feel like this is the intended play pattern is to activate that +1 to hit in the Death Company detachment by sending these dudes into their death, because they essentially have like a fight on death. If this dude is just like lone wolfing and like running in there, he's still getting full hit rerolls. He can swing with like I don't know, a power fist or the relic weapon or whatever. And then he does a little bit of damage on the swing, and then he dies, and he does mortal wounds, and then he triggers +1 to wound for your army. So, like, you just play fast and loose with one of them. I would say he's like a utility unit, but he actually... I guess he scores maneuver secondaries. You could, like, deep strike him, and he'd score engage in all fronts. And then your opponent kills him, and then you're like, yay! Let's go! Time to fight. The 4 plasma pistols per 10 means you have a non-negligible chance of putting yourself below starting strength. Yeah, you have to. I guess you can advance, shoot, and charge with the unit if you have a chaplain, right? Or if you're next to a chaplain. I kind of wish there was a lone op chaplain. That would be sick. Give me a combi weapon chaplain. It's like the combi weapon lieutenant, but he just runs around and gives your, like, buffs your Death Company Marines. Yeah, you get one. You can start with 1 plasma pistol. And then for every 5 models, 1 other dude gets another plasma pistol. But here's the problem, is that if you fail too many hazardous checks, I guess the goal is to fail exactly 1 hazardous check, and the dude who's got like a chainsword and a plasma pistol dies. But there is a non-zero chance that you lose one of your special weapons when your plasma pistol explodes, which is unfortunate. Also, the Black Rage, I guess importantly, only rerolls melee attacks. It no longer rerolls all attacks, so you don't get rerolls on your Inferno pistols anymore, which was kind of silly, but extremely strong in some instances. So I believe the sanguinary points were 50 per model, chat. 150 for 3 and 600 or 300 for 6. I wouldn't believe them though. I would not put any stock into any of the points values in this supplement. As always. Never believe them. Those are lies. They're lies trying to mislead you. All right. What else do we have in the index? We talked about the captain. Talked about the points. Oh, here are the characters. Lamardes gets lethal hits and is -1 damage. He still is great. And he has his new model, which is very polarizing. He has a new model, which looks big, and it's on like a 40 or a 50 mil, right? But he's still 4 wounds. He's still just a little guy. He's just a little baby. So Lamarde's still strong. Fair enough. Asth gives you fight on death, which is good because there are very limited fight on deaths in the detachment now, or in the index now. Every time you make a charge move, melee weapons get devastating wounds. That's okay, I guess, but you're mostly kind of decent AP anyway. Less exciting. Although he himself, he's devastating wounds precision, 6 attacks. It's 7-3-2. It's alright. And he's a little tougher to kill. 2 plus armor and 5 wounds instead of 4 wounds like Lamarde's is. For whatever reason. I guess Astrath, it's just the big wings. The big wings in your jump pack if you +1 wound. Alright, and then Mephiston's also in here, although he's sideways for whatever reason. Fix yourself, Mephiston. I think I'm hiding some of the data sheet. Let me put that in a better spot. He gives you advance and charge. He used to give you fight first, right? Advance and charge is much better. Is this guy good? He can join... I don't have his the backside of his card. He used to be able to join Assault Intercessors. I assume he still can. Well, an enemy unit is within 6 inches of him. Each time it's selected to fall back, it must take a leadership test. If it's failed, you must remain stationary. That's fine, I guess. It's certainly going to come up in some cases. He just has fights first. Which I do... I believe we had a whole discussion on whether or not that carries over. And I literally can't remember if it does or not. And I think that it does. No, it does not carry over. So if he's with a unit, he actually loses fight first, which is kind of weird. But if he's by himself, that's pretty good. I mean, is he not a leader, actually? Oh, he's not a leader. What am I talking about? Yeah, I think he's totally changed. He's been totally rewritten. I'm like, if he joins a unit, he does a thing, but he doesn't have the leader ability, and he's a lone operative. Yeah, okay. I'm just talking out my butt here, chat. He himself is able to advance and charge. Awkwardly, his weapons are not assault, though, so... Didn't think that one through, G-Dub. What's up with that? His focused attack is a pistol, sustained 3, 5-2, D3 damage. It's kind of weird. What a weird profile. That feels like the kind of psychic power which probably never does anything, and you just forget that it's on your datasheet. I like that he has 2 hazardous weapons, too, so he's playing with fire over here. But he's swinging in at strength 9, AP 3, D3 damage, lethal hits. Only 6 attacks. He's by himself. I guess, like, points value really matters for this dude. If he's... I don't know. What's a good points value for this guy? Like a 90 or something? Like a lone operative character who's not the easiest thing in the world to kill, and who hits pretty hard. He's pretty good, and it's, like, kind of fast. He's moved 7, advanced and charge. With a 4+ feel no pain, so he's actually tough to kill. That's actually solid, but I have a sneaking suspicion that he's going to be like 130 points and literally never played, because they tend to overvalue these little unoperative guys quite a bit. 125 in the book. Is he good at 125? I guess he's kind of a spoiler because he can heroic intervene. It's like weird places, because he has fight first and is like super tough. So there's oftentimes going to be situations where your opponent like can't really engage in appropriately. Yeah, I think, but he's like, it's weird because Blood Angels are like the aggressor, right? So I don't know how often you're going to be in these situations where your little infantry dude gets to heroic intervene. Like, it's different with Sanguinor because he comes in anywhere on the table. But if you're pushing like 20 inches forward with Death Company or with jump pack units that are insanely fast, like Mephiston's just going to be left in the dust. And having like a 120 point dude who just holds an objective in the back is like kind of whatever. I don't know. He's probably fine. Chief Librarian Kit's like his way out of paperback. Dude, that's Space Marine Psychers. What 9th edition has what 10th edition has taught me is that Space Marine Psychers are fucking worthless. The worst Psychers in the galaxy. A Primaris Librarian gets dramatically outdamaged by a Imperial Guard Primaris Psycher who like destroys tanks with his mind. Yeah, you like compare their psychic powers to like I don't know. Almost any other faction. Almost any other faction Psychers are better than Space Marine Psychers. I don't know why that is. Is there a lore thing to that, or did it just make Space Marine Psychers really terrible? And go kill all your opponent's small units like scouts? I'm sure. But like I could pay 80 points for a jump pack assault intercessor unit and do that, right? Like I don't know if I need to pay 50 points more on a big character. He's probably good, chat. The 2+4+ feel no pain is that's a hell of a stat line. He's gonna scam some people for sure. I don't think we have a new Sanguinor datasheet, right, to be fair, too. I don't know if the Sanguinor retains these, like, insane heroic intervention thing. If anybody has info, then I would be happy to know. But I don't know what Sanguinor does now. He does still do all his stuff? Alright. Well, if somebody's got that datasheet, send it over so we can look at it. Last but certainly not least of the data sheets that I have personally is a Death Company Dreadnought. The only Dreadnought remaining in the Codex. I'm sorry to say, everyone, all those Chad, Furioso, and Librarian Dreadnought enjoyers, they're all gone. Death Company Dreadnought gets hit, rerolls. It's a C0 when it's not within 12 inches of a Chaplain. And it gets a Blood Surge move if it's hit by a shooting attack. In the shooting phase, specifically. Not when an enemy unit is selected to shoot randomly. I don't know why they can't decide on one timing for that, but it's in the shooting phase. So it's out of phase on Overwatch, unfortunately. That gives you a D6 plus 2-inch move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit, and you can move into engagement range of that unit. Oh, I guess not. Did it lose the engagement range clause? Hold up, that's weird. Closest possible to the closest enemy unit cannot make it driven by Fury move while it is battle shocked or within engagement range. Oh, I guess it's not a normal move, so there's nothing stopping you from engaging. It's the same rationale that Go Get 'em could engage people. So I think you're just free to move into engagement range with people. Because it's a driven by Fury move. It's special. And then he's got Brutalis weapons, like sort of normal stuff. Either the fists that have the integrated bolt rifles, or the talons that have the sweep profile, 10 attacks, twin link, strength 7, AP2, 1 damage. He doesn't do mortal wounds on the charge though, so it feels like, I don't know, kind of a side grade. To be honest, like the Brutalis Dreadnought profile is really squishy. He does have a 6+ feel no pain, which is good on a 2+ save T12 or 12 wound model, but they like once exposed, they die really quickly because they don't have damage reduction or anything, and they're always out of cover. So I don't know if making them move out of cover even further to with their driven by Fury thing is that useful versus doing more damage once you get there. A little sad, chat. I guess, like, is there synergies? There's got to be synergies with the detachment, right? If you're damaged, which you are, if you have triggered your Blood Surge, then you get rerolls. But you're already twin linked, so who gives a shit? You don't care about that. Who cares? You can lock in objective markers. You can advance and charge. I guess that's good. I guess, like, this is pretty good. Getting +1 strength, AP, and damage. Well, it's +1 attack, I guess, and AP is good on the profile. Especially because he has a pretty solid chance of taking damage but not dying. But, is it that good? I don't know. As soon as he commits, he's going to explode. It's probably going to be 190 points or something in the final draft, which is a lot. Sad times, chat. Sanguinar is in the OG link. Which one's the OG link? Hey, Alfzor sends it over. All right. Thank you, Alpsor. You're the best. Here we go. A WhatsApp image. Ooh, we're sharing on WhatsApp now. Yeah, so Sanguinar looks mostly unchanged. He still fights first, still low up. Once per battle, enter your opponent's charge phase. If he's in reserve, selects one enemy unit that made a charge move. He can set up within engagement range. And he's got 8 attacks, 6, 3, 2, devastating. Yeah, he's like... Did he always have the leadership aura? He probably did, right? That just never came up because everyone was dead. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's literally unchanged. I don't believe any of these numbers are different. If it ain't broke, chat, although it is a little broke. It's a little teeny bit broke. Yeah. That's kind of wild. They just kept him identical. They have a new model for him and everything, and they just kept him the same. Somebody who always try to do a Dreadnought army, keenly aware of GW, tries really hard not to let it happen. I don't know about that. They do keep making Redemptor Dreadnoughts insanely overpowered, like every edition. They can't stop doing that. and last edition, like 8th and early 9th edition, Dreadnought armies were insane, bro. There was a Dreadnought army in 8th edition when the Iron Hands Codex came out, where your entire army would load operative. It was the dumbest thing ever. You couldn't shoot. There were Dreadnoughts that you couldn't shoot at. It was fucking nuts. Fear for Dreadnoughts is a wolf guy? Yeah, I'd be a little worried. It'd be kind of... If they feel more sort of endemic to the identity of Space Wolves, I guess. Because they have 2 character Dreadnoughts, which are, like, pretty important to the faction, I think. I don't know. I would be surprised to see too many changes to Space Wolves, but also I was not expecting us to lose, like, Librarian Dreadnoughts, so... Who knows? Yeah, Ball Predator's in here, chat. It looks like it got a dramatic upgrade. Flamestorm Cannon stays at the same profile. It has Assault baked in. It used to have this ability that was, you could, when you advanced, you could fire your weapons at infantry. Now it just has Assault. So you could fire your weapons at fucking whoever you want. And it's true for all of its guns. Its Assault Cannon has Assault, which is... To be fair, I guess makes sense. I guess it's Hunter Killer and Stormbolter randomly don't, but all the other weapons do. And it rerolls advanced rolls. Seems really good, chat. It seems incredibly strong. It took a unit that was already good and made it even better. What are the points in the Codex? Goodbye, Lamarties. Codex points. 125. There is... You think that stays? I don't know. I don't know about that one. 125 points for this thing? Would you take... Good. Here's a great question, chat. Would you take Sanguinor, or would you take this guy? I don't know. Same points value? This dude seems pretty good. Yeah, Bot Predator's, yeah, it's a significant upgrade. That's really good. Mr. Astrath, yeah, I think he's largely the same. He gives his unit devastating wounds. And he, we talked about him earlier. If he wants to show up. Come on, guys. He gives his unit devastating wounds. He gives his unit fight on death. And he himself is, like, hits kind of hard. He can only join Death Company jump backs. I don't think anything really changed with him. He's just kind of a guy. Oh, I think... Did Lamarty's Field Note Pain get upgraded? Did he have a 6+? Or am I thinking of Ulrich? I think I'm thinking of Ulrich. I played against him last week, and I had to remind my opponent that he had a Field Note Pain. Yeah, his Field Note Pain did get improved, actually. Well, that's good. That is a 5, right? That looks like a 5. It's a little grainy, but that looks like a 5. Good on you, Lamarties. That's almost another wound. Any world where we see 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts, 3 Brutalis enlists? Somebody's going to make it happen. That might be a Stormlance detachment, honestly. Like, just advance and charge. Full advance and charge everywhere all the time. You can make it work with Gladius, too, because then you don't... You save on the advance and charge for the stratagems. That feels Stormlancey to me, though. I would play that in Stormlance, I think. You also get a reactive move, which is kind of cute. We were just talking about Dreadnought lists in Discord yesterday. I was running around the with some Space Wolf stuff. Astrath used to only give dev wounds once per game. Oh, okay. I guess that's a pretty solid change. Why didn't they call one of the detachments flesh terrors? That definitely would have helps people out. But if they're getting rid of Gabriel Seth, like at some point you'd just be like, wow, I don't know, just play a Blood Angels army and call it flesh terrors. Do I think that it's going to be a strong Codex? Points dependent, yeah, I think so. For sure. You're already coming from a strong starting point, because Blood Angels are already really good. And as far as I can see, the detachments got almost strictly better. I think, I mean, the new detachments are brand new, right? Like, it's hard to quantify if they're better or worse. The Liberator Assault Group probably got a side grade. It's like offensive potential is lower, but it's faster, and that's a big, huge deal. But it still just retains +1 attack and +2 strength. Like it's just gonna hit like a fucking truck, and it's gonna come at you at a really long range, and it's gonna be insane. The other detachments are a little trickier, and I like that. But worst case scenario, I think that regular Blood Angels armies just got like an upgrade. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really good. I think Blood Angels are gonna stay where they are. They didn't really lose that many tools. Like the Death Company units are worse, but your other units are better. So like, it's probably fine. And I don't like they're not like dramatically worse. The little 5-man units though still hit pretty hard. They have essentially 3 power fists instead of 5. But if the game plan's to go in and lose a guy, then it's probably okay. Not really going to use other detachments? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's not reliant on Gladius Task Force at all, which is huge. That's a big deal. It feels like they finally figured out how to make a Space Marine supplement. It took them 3 tries, but we got there. 18-inch range on the Flamestorm cannon? Yeah, it's always been 18-inch on the Ball Predator one. The Ball Predator trades the double shots from the Land Raider for extra range, essentially. So it's always like a super scary Overwatch threat because it gets the big Top Gun at a super long range. And then if you're close enough, if you're within the short range, you also get hit by 2 heavy flamers. So it's like, it's lower damage overall than a Redeemer, but it's higher reliability because you're getting it more often and you're faster. So it's kind of insane to think about, but like especially the Overwatch potential damage. They don't have like the Pinto Melta and the Assault Cannon and all that stuff like the Redeemer does. But the Overwatch threat of a Ball Predator is similar to that, is comparable to that of a Land Raider Redeemer, which is one of the most terrifying Overwatches in 40k. So like these guys were always kind of just problematic for that. Like they could just randomly kill 5 like utility guys just running up on them at any time. Super good. There were a lot of Blood Angels lists that were just like windmill slam 3 Ball Predators and call it a day. Yeah, but yeah, the assault on all the weapons was definitely a huge thing. Definitely big. Because you can shoot anything now. Previously, you had to like just fry infantry, which was fine because most of the time you wanted to shoot that gun at infantry anyway, so it didn't really matter. But now it's just extra upside, it's just extra fun, good stuff. Toying with the book points, seriously rolling 2 Ball Predators, 2 Brutalis Dreadnoughts. Yeah, I mean, that feels pretty good, to be honest. Get ready for all the Meta Chasers to suddenly become Blood Angels players. Well, that's the thing, chat. They already are Blood Angels players. Like, Blood Angels are like, what's like, top 3 in the games, like Thousand Sons, Sisters, like, Drukhari, like Gladius Task Force, Dark Angels. Blood Angels are like number 5. They're like top 5 in 40k right now. And then suddenly they just got a buff. They're like, all these people, we're not going to get new Blood Angels players because those people are already on Blood Angels. We're just going to get stronger Blood Angels players. Maybe we'll lose some Sisters players for Blood Angels. And to be fair, I would rather play against this Codex, or this supplement, any day of the week over Sisters of Battle. So if all the Sisters players want to drop their Sisters and play cool Blood Angels, then I'm into it. Let's go. Let's fight, dude. You have a Marine army, so buy a couple unique models, suddenly your Blood Angels. I mean, yes and no. The codexes like this are a lot easier to dive into than stuff like the Dark Angels like supplement, which is a lot of times like, hey, here, get Azrael, and then just play Space Marine army. You're like, okay, cool, I'll do it. At least now you have to, like, people are playing Inner Circle Companions and stuff because they got buffed. But so the more specialized chapters are a little tougher because at the very least, like, you need 15 jump pack assault intercessors basically every time you play Blood Angels. and almost all of their infantry, their like combat infantry, is unique. So it is actually basically a whole new army. Like, you can build a Blood Angels army out of an existing Space Marine army if you just have normal stuff, but it is a lot to get into. That was when I first started in 8th edition. I was like, oh, I'll play Space Marines because then I can swap between playstyles really easily. But actually, like, swapping a Space Marine list archetype is basically buying a whole new 40k army. The faction is so broad that it's hard to switch between them. It's much easier to switch between Space Marine armies than it is like to buy a whole new faction, but it is not a dissimilar number of models. Gonna fart around with Imperial agents? Yeah, now that Imperial agents are actually legal, then I think it's gonna be interesting to play around with them a little bit. The assassin points values feel like incredible. I don't know how you start. Like, you could just windmill slam 4 assassins into an agent's army and just be like, all right, well, that's a list. That's 450 points of it, and then I'll take a Warhound and Canis Rex. Let's go. And that's my army. And the assassins will do most of the heavy lifting, and the Warhound's there for show. Yeah, there's some pretty solid ally inclusions in there too, for sure. But yeah, that's the Blood Angels index or supplement. And that's not an index anymore. It's officially de-indexed. Good stuff in there. I'm excited to see it on the table. I'm especially excited to see Angelic Host. I think it's like kind of the coolest one. That's the one that gets me most excited. Just like uppy downy stuff is sweet, man. It's just cool. So hopefully we'll see some cool play out of it, and I'm excited. Did they say Codex will all be out this year? I don't think so. They had a roadmap like through the end of the year, and I can't remember off the top of my head what the next releases were on it. I can never keep track of all the release stuff. Wonder when will we get points? That's a great question. When is the release date? September 7th. So we will likely get points, I would say 3 weeks. 1, 2, 3. I would say 3 weeks from now is probably when they will be fully playable. It's 2 weeks for the official release. And then usually a couple days after that is when points go live. So that's what I would be expecting it like the week of the 9th and through 13th. That's the pre-release? Oh, is it like a box thing? Then I have no idea. Yeah, I couldn't tell you if that's like a box. If it's a box pre-release, then it could be next edition. Like it could be we could see a Imperial or Astra Militarum thing where the Codex gets released like a full year before it's actually competitively legal. Yeah, Tau was like that too. The box pre-order system is so fucked. It's so bad. It takes all of the issues with the Codex release cycle and it just compounds them. It's terrible. Nobody pre-order Codexes. Everyone's telling people not to pre-order Space Marine 2. Don't worry about that. Pre-order Space Marine 2 if you want. Who cares? Don't pre-order fucking Codexes, chat. It's so stupid. Thousand Suns next, then Astra Militarum and Dwarves. Yeah, I'm a high host for Thousand Suns. That faction's so cool, but right now they're like so just like they're like non-functionally busted. Like the Codex is really strong, but it's only strong in one particular way, or the index I should say. It's like it's super strong, and it's mostly super strong because Magnus is like nuts, and there's only one way to play the army. I'm I'm on the cusp of like not including Thousand Sons results in like best armies in 40k anymore because it's like the list is always within one character being identical, and you're like, okay, oh, did this guy take 2 units of Zangor Enlightened or 2 units of Cultist? Oh, what a difference! It's so dumb. Hopefully it's good because I like the faction and I want them to do cool and interesting things, but not in a way that's boring and silly. But they're boring and silly right now. But anyway, chat, I think that's going to be it for me today. Not a super long stream. But I'm gonna go, now that I'm awake, I'm going to go and get some more work done. And get some videos edited. Hopefully I'll have some videos out tomorrow. Crossing my fingers. Depends on how I'm feeling. But been a little bit of a rough week, but we will be better. I'm all better. And yeah, gonna have some sweet content out for you pretty soon. So, cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Keep it classy, have happy wargaming, all that stuff, and I will see you in the next one. We will have I have a Twitch stream scheduled for Friday. I'm waiting on another one, and I believe that we have streams scheduled over the weekend as well for Twitch. So if you're over on the Purple channel, come hang out with me over there. I have scheduled, one thing I did this week is I scheduled VODs to go live on the replay channel. TacticalTortoise TV. So if you are subscribed over there, there should be VODs basically all the way through the week being released because we had a ton of games and event finals go down from the start of Brian Nexus that are getting moved over to the replay channel now too. So there's a ton of that as well. So go enjoy that. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, everyone.